You ever notice how the easiest stuff to start always ends up being the biggest waste of your damn life? Scrolling, easy, Netflix, 2 clicks. Texting your ex at 1:37 a.m., tragically effortless. Microwave mac and cheese, basically a religion at this point. But starting a business, hard. Going to therapy, uncomfortable. Starting over, that's like dragging a piano up a hill with dental floss during a thunderstorm. And here's the throat punch. If it's easy to start, it's probably worthless. Not just neutral, worthless. Or worse, it's stealing your life, one scroll, one binge, I'll start tomorrow at a time. You don't notice it at first. Feels harmless. 5 minutes to unwind, then it's 3:14 a.m. And you're deep in a YouTube hole, watching some guy build a pool out of bamboo while your self-esteem quietly bleeds out on the couch. You're not even watching anymore. You're just existing, like a zombie with Wi-Fi. And what's worse, you knew it was happening. You knew that little whisper in your brain, the one that said, "This isn't helping." That was you. That was the real you. The version that remembers who you were before life numbed you down, but you ignored it. Because it was easy, and easy is seductive. Easy wraps its arms around you and says, "Shh, you've had a long day. Just give up." So you stay, and you scroll, and you spiral. And now here you are, watching this video, hoping it'll hit you hard enough to wake you the hell up. Good, because it's time. Look, you're not lazy, you're exhausted, you're not broken, you're just disconnected from the part of you that wants more. You've been eating emotional junk food for so long, you forgot what real nourishment feels like. You've been microwaving your life in 30-second increments. But real life, real meaning, that SGT takes a slow roast. Here's the wild thing nobody tells you. Burnout doesn't just come from doing too much. It comes from doing too little of what actually matters. You're not tired because you've been working hard. You're tired because your soul is bored. You're not overwhelmed because you have too many dreams. You're overwhelmed because you're not moving toward any of them. And every time you pick the easy thing, you reinforce the idea that the hard thing isn't worth it. But let me ask you this. When has anything easy ever made you proud? That TikTok binge? That third nap of the day? That decision to quit the gym because life's been busy? Do you look back and think, wow, what a legacy I'm building? No, because ease doesn't build anything. It just keeps you comfortable while your potential quietly dies in the corner. And that's not drama. That's math. Life is made of minutes. And those minutes are being traded for something every single day. You're either investing or you're wasting. There's no neutral. That's the harsh truth. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying life should be hustle all the time. This isn't a sleep when you're dead speech. Rest is holy. But avoidance disguised as rest is poison. Doom scrolling is not self-care. Denial is not peace. You want peace? You want to feel good? Then earn it. I'm sorry, but that's the only way. There's no shortcut to a life you're proud of. There's only the choice to do the hard thing when no one's watching, over and over again. Because that's where real confidence is built. That's where you meet the version of yourself you've only seen in daydreams. The version of you who finishes, who starts, who shows up even when it sucks, especially when it sucks. That version of you, they're not far away. They're buried under years of comfort and chaos and quitting, but they're not gone. They're just waiting for you to stop playing small. You ever try to start something big, like really start? First gym session after a decade, first blog post, first honest conversation. Feels like your insides are screaming. Your brain will throw every excuse it can find. You're not ready. You're not good enough. Who do you think you are? That's not your intuition. That's your comfort zone having a panic attack. And the only way to shut it up is to act anyway. To move while the fear's still loud. To choose hard over hollow. Because that's what the easy life is, hollow. It's a nice-looking box with nothing inside, and you deserve so much more than that. But you won't get it until you stop mistaking comfort for happiness. Comfort is a liar. It tells you you're okay when you're slowly drowning. It tells you to relax while your dreams rot. And look, I get it. I've been there. I've wasted entire years playing it safe, numbing out, saying I'll figure it out later. But here's what I've learned. Later is a myth. Tomorrow is a lie. The only moment you will ever have is this one. Right here, right now. This is it. This is your shot, your moment. Your blink in the universe, spine-tingling, heart-thumping invitation to stop watching your own life like it's someone else's highlight reel. Not to do everything. Not to suddenly become the perfect version of yourself with six-figure habits and 12-hour morning routines, not to transform overnight into a productivity robot who crushes goals and eats kale for fun. Forget that. This isn't about perfection. This isn't about pretending you're okay. This is about beginning, starting with what you've got, right here. As messy, scared, tired, behind, confused, and achingly human as you are. Because that's enough. That's more than enough to take the first step into the fire, even when your legs are shaking and your brain is screaming abort. To walk into the unknown with nothing but your honesty and your bruised hope and the tiniest flicker of belief that maybe, just maybe, you don't have to keep living like this. That maybe on the other side of discomfort is a life that feels like yours. And yeah, it's going to hurt. But pain isn't the enemy. Pain is the price of waking up. Pain is the cost of returning to yourself. Because hard isn't just suffering. Hard is transformation. Hard is what strips away the fake, the fluff, the autopilot. It's what breaks the shell and forces you to remember what it means to be alive. Not just breathing, alive. You know what being alive feels like? It feels like shaking before a conversation you know you have to have. It feels like hitting send on something you poured your soul into. It feels like taking the first step alone into a version of your life no one claps for yet. It feels like fear, like joy, like freedom, all wrapped into one beautiful, uncomfortable moment. There's this guy I knew, let's call him Mike. Mike had that spark, you know the type. Big dreams, big brain, quick wit. The kind of guy people looked at and thought, he's going to do something. But Mike didn't, not right away. Because he did what most of us do. He played it safe. He chased the easy path with just enough ambition to stay afloat and just enough fear to never really swim. Took the jobs that didn't ask too much of him. Dated people who didn't challenge him. Laughed when things were funny and disappeared when things were real. He told himself he had time, that he'd get to it, that someday was a legitimate strategy. He'd lay in bed at night and scroll past lives he wished he had while doing nothing to build his own. Life didn't explode. It didn't crash and burn. It just faded, slowly, quietly. Like a song playing in another room, getting softer and softer until all that was left was silence. Until one night at 37, he looked in the mirror and couldn't remember who he used to want to be. And that was the night something broke. Not in a dramatic movie scene way, no violin soundtrack, no epiphany, just a quiet, terrifying realization that the life he was living wasn't his. So he made a choice. A stupid, irrational, completely illogical choice. He moved into a dumpy one-bedroom with roaches and bad lighting and no plan. He bought a paintbrush. And he started. No audience, no mentor, no Instagram strategy, just paint. Every night. After a soul-crushing job he hated. After fighting every voice in his head telling him he was too late, too old, too unoriginal. And at first, it was bad, embarrassing. The kind of art you look at and go, that's nice. But he kept going. And somewhere between the 50th canvas and the 100th rejection, it started to change. It got less bad, then decent, then shockingly, painfully good. 3 years later, he had a gallery show. But that's not the victory. The victory was the man he became. The man who no longer flinched when he looked himself in the eye. Who laughed louder, walked lighter, who had that quiet kind of peace you can't fake, the kind that comes from doing the hard thing. Not because it worked, but because it mattered. Mike didn't change because someone gave him a permission slip. He changed because he finally stopped waiting for one. That story? It's not really about Mike. It's about you. Because you're Mike. You're at the mirror moment. You know something has to change. You can feel it in your bones. That ache when you say, I'm fine, but no, you're not. That tension in your chest when you laugh at a joke but feel like crying. That quiet scream inside your head that whispers, this can't be it. You don't need another productivity hack. You don't need another book or podcast or perfectly curated Pinterest board. You need to begin. Not with a bang, with a whisper. With a single terrifying act of defiance against the version of you that's settled. You're waiting for motivation. But motivation's not coming. That's not how it works. Action creates motivation. Movement creates clarity. Starting, even when it sucks, is what rewires your entire story. So this is your permission slip. This is your sign. This is the voice you needed, not because I'm wise, but because I've been where you are, and I know the look in your eyes right now. That mixture of fear and longing and rage and hope, that how the hell did I end up here feeling? And I'm telling you, you don't need to be ready. You just need to begin, even if it's ugly, even if it's humiliating, even if it's one shaky rep, one awful sentence, one brutally honest message that makes your stomach twist. Do it. Do one hard thing today. One, that's it. Tonight, when your thumb twitches for TikTok, when your brain begs for comfort, pause, breathe, ask, is this easy or is this worth it? And if it's easy, drop it. If it's hard, lean in just a little. Choose the action that scares you, the one that exposes you, the one that feels like standing naked in the wind. That's the one that will save you. And then do it again tomorrow and the day after until the numbness fades, until the fire comes back, until you start to recognize yourself in the mirror again. Not the polished mask, but the raw, beautiful, real you underneath. And if that terrifies you, good. That means it's real. That means you're on the edge of something that actually matters. And that means it's time. Time to stop waiting. Time to stop running. Time to remember who the hell you are. Because 5 years from now, you're either going to thank yourself or you're going to wish to God you could go back and make this choice. There's no shortcut, no cheat code, no step-by-step system, just this. The easy path ends in regret. The hard path ends in freedom. Choose wisely, choose hard, choose now, choose you.